Here's where I'm completely jealous. 15, 20 years ago when working with Java GUI, we really didn't have, well, SceneBuilder. We had to kind of design things out. We still do. But I mean, we had to manually put everything together with Java code in order to make a GUI that didn't look great. Let's just put it that way. I mean, there had to be enough pushback that here, this is why they created SceneBuilder, in order to make things, frankly, look a lot nicer. So I'm completely jealous when I get into SceneBuilder here. Now, before I get into that, we have to remember that SceneBuilder is a completely separate program that we get to call from Eclipse or your IDE. Now, remember, you should have set this up beforehand, and you should have set this up where Eclipse is able to call it, and then voila, it comes up. So I'm hoping you got the setup done. Let's put it that way. But let's create a new project here. I'm going to do project, file, new, other, JavaFX project. And I'm going to name it Lupoli Test 1. Everything, I'm going to stay with 11 for this moment, and this is 2022. You know, it could be better. I've had 18 that didn't work, so I'm going to stay with 11 for right now. Let's see here. Hit next. Then I'm going to move to my libraries. I'm going to do that right off the bat. I'm going to add my library, user library, Java FDK. Now, or FX. I hate when it does this. So in Eclipse, for at least this version, I had to click on the class path, then add the library, then do this. So I don't know how many times I've done that. Now be careful, because I bet the JavaFX SDK will still show up. So just a heads up on that. So let's see here. So there's that. I'm going to change this to, oops, not that. But notice you have a mobile app. All right. Sample controller. Yeah, that's fine. I wouldn't mind changing the names of these eventually, but I'm going to leave it for now. I'm going to hit finish. So if I look under Lupoli test here, oh geez, the SDK didn't show up. Okay, yeah, that's good. Okay, good. Everything looks good here. I was waiting for something completely different here. All right, now I still need to set up my main to have the arguments. So let's see here. Run as, run configuration, arguments. Let's make sure this is the right one. Oh, you know what? Here's another hint. Notice we haven't run it yet. So I'm going to close this real quick. I'm going to run this just for giggles. It's going to give me an error, and that's fine. But now I'm going to go ahead and go to run as, run configurations. It's the last one. Notice now that it pops up, now I'll go to arguments, and notice it's not there. That's what I was waiting for. So that might be an Eclipse thing. I don't know. So I'm going to hit apply. I'm going to hit run now, and let's see. Oh, I do have a window that pops up. Perfect. Okay, so everything's good so far. So that's fantastic. All right, now here's where things get a little bit more interesting. And again, this is in the setup videos that you should have had, is I should be able to right-click on samplecontroller.java, oh, I'm sorry, sample.fxml, open with SceneBuilder, and this window pops up. I can't tell you how jealous I am from here on out. So, first, in all of this, remember that I'm actually working with sample.fxml. I'm actually working with that file. I'm not really working with Java. I'm really not. So here's where Java's loading up our sample.fxml. I'm never going to get that right. Anyway, so there it is right there. So whatever changes we make to the fxml file, Java's going to load it up and put it right into our border pane, which is going to be our root, and that's going to be our stage and everything else like that. So let me get back to this. Now, containers, controllers, menus, these are all the different options that you have. But notice containers by default is going to be open up because that really is what we need to drop everything into. Now, please go through and explore some of these fantastic containers that you have. But I'm going to use Anchor Pane just because, frankly, I'm jealous. Number two, I can place anything that I want anywhere on it. So I'm pretty okay with using this just to kind of for a demonstration part. I would use some of the other ones if I was more strict, like with gaming or something of that nature. But for right now, for demonstration purposes, Anchor Pane honestly is the easiest. And again, Manually, I would have had to have done this in Swing and AWT, which is a real pain in the neck. But anyway, so notice also in the document, it kind of gives you the hierarchy. We're in a border pane. We're using an anchor. We have a top, left, right, and bottom. I'm not going to worry about that for now. All right, now I'm going to get the controls. So I'm going to put controls here. I'm going to put an OK button, or just a button, really. So that's what anchor pane does, is it actually kind of gives you a little bit of, oh, by the way, there's a difference between a label and then a text box. I'll show you that here. Text area, text field. Okay. So notice a button, it automatically opens up for you. Label, by the way, is, last time I checked, it's not interactive. It's just text like what is this text box beside me? The text box is definitely interactive. So if we click on something, we add something to it, we can retrieve the value from it. I'm just going to put one more in there. I'm not going to do web view. Checkbox. Okay. Now, the important part. I'm going to hit save. So File, Save, which I just did with the keyboard, actually. Now let me go back to the code. So notice, the Java code didn't change at all yet. Okay. All we're doing is loading up that sample file, fxml. We're going to run it here. Let's pray it works right. And my window keeps coming up to the side here. There's my window. Now, be careful. I just actually screwed this up. It's edited out. I went to my particular main that I'm doing everything in, went to run as, and then run the Java application. And I've got a 3-screen system here, so I had to group all the way from my one desk to one screen, all bringing everything over. So be careful on where that window pops up if you have multiple screens. But there it is. It's so beautiful compared to what I had to do before. But anyway, notice the label I can't really do anything with, and text box I most definitely can. So again, the difference between the two there. So that is your setup when it comes to an introduction to your screen builder.